Good Tuesday morning, Mount Olive Church family and friends. Hope everybody's having a great day and a good start to the week. I hope you got to be with us for service Sunday, and if not, I hope you got to watch online or listen. Wonderful message that the Lord sent through the pastor in Malachi chapter 3, verse 6, and talking about to know God, to know Him, and to make Him known. Pastor put that word God on the screen to start out, and he asked, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What's the first thing that comes up that you think about when you think of that word? I thought that was good. Kind of throw that back at you today to give you a little something to talk about. Monday's devotion, Pastor talked about how the person of God doesn't change, and he talked about him being that rock, and that he wouldn't change no matter what the circumstances or anything else that come his way. God was still God. Wonderful devotion that Pastor had Monday. I want to go with mine today is going to be the part that stuck out to me and spoke to my heart is God's plan. Sometimes I think even as the most seasoned Christians, we don't understand God's plan sometimes, or we question God's plan, or we doubt God's plan, or you kind of know where I'm coming from on that. And even young Christians, maybe today that you've not been saved very long, you're looking for God's plan for your life. So that's where I want to go today. Three people that Pastor spoke about Sunday in the sermon. He talked about Abraham, and he talked about Noah, and he talked about Moses, and he talked about the plan that God used and seen through them, used them with, and the plan that he had for each of them to accomplish what he was wanting to do, what he had planned to do. So Abraham, listen, he called him away from his family. It was leave your family. There was a lot going on there with his father's side of the family and the idol worship. And God said, listen, Abraham, leave. I want you to leave. I'm going to send you to a place, and I'm going to make a nation out of you. Noah, he spoke a little bit about that, and he talked about building the ark, and it's going to rain. What in the world's rain? But he said, I want you to build an ark, Noah, and I'm going to use you, and I have a plan, and I'm going to save the world. I'm going to save you and your family and the animals, bring them in the ark, and I'm going to save the world. And I have a plan through you. For Moses, he said, come to Moses, and he come up with all these things he wanted Moses to do. You're going to go down to Pharaoh. You're going to tell him this. You're going to tell him that. Moses, like, I'm not a good speaker. He's not going to listen. This is not going to work. And God says, I have a plan to save the children of Israel. There's something that stuck out to my mind with all three of these people, and we know that they accomplished that, right? We know we still see today the nation that Abraham made. We know what come from Noah building the ark and the reason we're still here. We know what Moses did. I like the pastor said walking in and walking out. I love that he used that in the plan that he had. But there was something that stuck out to me with these three. And if you go over to Hebrews chapter 11, I won't go over there today for time's sake of a devotion, but go over to Hebrews chapter 11 sometime. You will find these three men there. So they trusted God's plan, and God had a plan for them, but it took them to show great faith. They all showed great faith, right? They all showed great faith in God's plan to let him use them. And then he come to this scripture, and I really love this, one of my favorites. Jeremiah 29:11 says, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace. He doesn't think bad. He doesn't think, look down the road and say, I'm going to make this bad or that bad. He says, it's thoughts of peace and not of evil, but to give you an expected end. That's a promise, to give you something. A lot of things we hope for, and I've said this before, I don't know if I've shared it in a devotion, but we look at hope as a wish or a want. God looks at that as an expected end. It's a promise with God. So the hope we have him is an expected end. So that's what I want to share with you today. What is God's plan for your life? And be reminded today that he does have a plan. Don't doubt his plan. I don't know where you're at today in your life, where you're at with your job, with your finances, with your family, whatever it is. But rest assured, God has a plan. But keep your faith in him to let him use you to accomplish that plan. As long as we do that and we keep faith in him, it's just like those in Hebrews chapter 11. They had that faith, and that accomplished God's plan. God has a plan for you today. I don't know what it is. Maybe you're still searching. Seek him out. But most of all, just trust him. Trust him that his ways are way higher than our ways, and his thoughts are way higher than our thoughts. And he knows exactly what he wants for you today. I hope you all have a great week. Remember to pray for me, and as always, I'll be praying for you. God bless.